morning, viewers around the world. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. You are welcome to Echo morning. As usual, we are here to give you news updates as it affects Africans around the world. But I am not alone. My name is and I'm here with my colleagues, coordinators, and friends all over the world. Joining me from Toronto, Canada, George. You're welcome to News Echo this morning. Hello.
Good morning, Mike Godwin. Good morning, viewers from around the world. Your volume, there's some technical issues with your volume.
At least you can hear me a little. Can you?
Okay, it's better now, yes.
Yes.
Good morning, viewers from around the world. We want to welcome you to our show today. It's going to be a fantastic one.
Thank you, George. Also, right there in Lagos, Nigeria, is our beautiful coordinator, Bidi Nana. Bidi, good morning. You're welcome to this beautiful Wednesday morning. How are you?
Good morning, I'm all right. Good morning, Massive Mike. Sajaj, good morning. Our viewer all around the world, good morning. Thanks for joining us again today. Let's do it like always.
Let's do it like always. Gentlemen, ladies, let's go through some newspaper headline that is making the shots, and we're following up this morning. A lot of commotion around the world. This morning, United Nations has said that 260,000 people have been forced to flee their homes as a result of the situation in the Gaza Strip. Heavy bombing is going on now as we're talking. From the land, the sea, everywhere is on fire. Also, a serious one from a part of the world people rarely talk about. It used to be known as former bomber. Today, they call it Myanmar. United Nations also has said that women and children are being killed in a bombing that happened last night. Myanmar, like some of us might know, for those that are probably listening, is Southeast Asia nation and has lots of ethnic groups. It borders around India, Bangladesh, China, Laos, and Thailand. Now, Myanmar military has been accused of launching airstrike on a camp of people that are displaced already. And that launch of airstrike has killed a lot of children and women. So Myanmar is on turmoil, and the United Nations is shouting this morning and calling that there's a stop to this atrocity. Now, what's happening is as a result of the takeover, the overthrow they did of the elected government of a lady called Aung San Suu Kyi back in February 2021. So Myanmar is in the news this morning in the headline. Also in the headline in faraway Nigeria is the story coming from the military camp. The military is ordering a man that was one time in charge of properties for the Nigerian army. And they said he has been accused, he has been found of corruption and sentenced him to 7 years imprisonment. And that's a Major General. Major General Umar Mohammed has been sentenced to 7 years in prison for stealing government money, military money. Also, there in Nigeria, we heard this morning that the secondary school certificate examination has come out to say that some schools have been blacklisted for being involved in widespread cheating while conducting the exam, the NACO exam. And also 52 supervisors have been blacklisted. And this is being made by the registrar and the chief executive of the NACO, one Professor Dantani. He disclosed this morning as a result of what an ongoing research they are doing in NACO. Finally, there is a story we just got this morning also coming from Russia that the wife of Zelensky, we all know who Zelensky is, the president of the prime minister of Ukraine. Now, the Russians are saying the wife is having a Russian passport. is hidden anyway. It's something they just brought to light this morning. So these are some of the headlines, major headlines we are following. There are lots of news going on, but we give you update as we take it on. Gentlemen, Sir George, what do you say about the headlines? Some of those things that have been.
Well, it's the sign of the times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're seeing around the world. Chaos, chaos, chaos. Wars and rumors of wars, telling us the end is just at our door. Look up, check up, because your redemption is drawing near. That's what we're seeing now, my brother. So, but anyway, in the case of the what's going on near it's been a conflict for a while. It's been a long time, and they have been fighting over these their government for quite a decade right now. And so it's just crazy what is happening around the world. You know, things about 30 years ago, you would never have imagined that what we're seeing today, that you will see it. But in our own eyes, we're seeing what is going on. And unfortunately, it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. It's going to intensify. Yeah, it's going to intensify. That's what you're seeing around the world today with the corruption in Nigeria, the one that was sentenced to 7 years. Oh, there are so many of them, you know, because this is just one that you have just found. All across from top to bottom, there is corruption all over. It's only when one scapegoat is picked up, and then all of a sudden, everybody else, you know, calms down. But the corruption is all over.
The corruption is all over. Thank you very much, George. I think we have slight issue with our coordinator in Lagos, but we'll go ahead with the major discussions, George. I know you're following up. The occurrences are strong. A lot of things are happening. But before we continue, George, we have a viewer, Yetunde Marima Johnson. She's saying, good morning to you all. I appreciate your consistency in analyzing the news all around the world. New harrowing news in Israel. Yes, Ukraine is still going on. May God give us peace. Wonderful. Thank you, Madam Yetunde. Thank you for this beautiful message you sent in. We appreciate taking your time to listen to us, following us, and we also appreciate your support and the things you say. Exactly, Madam Yetunde. The problem in the world is harrowing. We wake up every day, like George said. The times are really their times we're in, very dangerous times. Italians will say periculous times. And sadly, like George said, it probably might be getting more tougher and tougher as we go by. But God keeps us. May God grant us peace, Madam Yetunde. Thank you very much for that beautiful comment. BD, it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we are happy to see you get back on frame. So, George and BD, let's go into the discussion. The major discussion for today, like you all know, it's really blazing hot in Israel, and we can't have this event today without talking about it. Hamas pulled up one of the greatest strike in the history of Israel and Palestinian. Hamas came real strong. That strike, people are calling it unprecedented attack. It was well planned, strategized. The training, everything shows that there were experts also that helped them to do this. So we are seeing this whole war raging on. Israel, on its part, has said it's full-blown war. They are going all out to do what they will do to safeguard the lives of their people. George, let me start with you. What do you see in this? Who is to be blamed? How do we begin to assess it? We know it's not a new thing. Hamas-Israel issue has been all year long, and but for the benefit of our listeners, let me give some small guide into this whole story. let's remember that this whole Israel territory in that part of the world is about 100 years now. About that time, 1917, the British Foreign Secretary at that time wrote a letter addressing the British Jewish community. And in that letter, he stated that they are going to establish in Palestine a national home for the Jewish people. And that letter, we still have it, is online. It's called the Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration was where that thing was stated. Now, what happened was they now had to give a part of the land, the Palestinian land, to some Jews that were scattered around the world. And take note that after the war, after the Second World War, a lot of Jews had to find their way back to those places. So the Jewish population has grown. The land, actually, what they did was give 33% of the whole total land to the Palestinian and give a percentage of it again to the Jewish people. But with time, some of those there were encroachments. United Nations came with his own plan and said, okay, what we'll do is a two-state thing. There will be the Arab state, and there will be the Jewish state. And but it hasn't worked too well. These two sides have been punching each other. The Palestinians rejected the United Nations plan because it says it allocated 56% of their own land to the Jewish state. And but the Jewish people said, no, 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 it's not true. At that time also, the Palestinians said they own percentage of what we have today as the Jewish state. So we've been going back and forth in all of this, and it has not really settled well with everybody. So in all of these also, there have been fighting, there have been border fights, Gaza Strip, Golan Heights, West Bank. All of these places have been seeing war fights, all because people say they've taken their land. The indigenous people of the land say they've taken their land. These people say no, it's been given to them and it's been constitutionalized and is there. So all of those stories going on. I just gave a rough rundown. George, what will you say? We're seeing the fight escalate, killed, women killed, mothers, terrible things. I've seen gory videos, rape, abuse of human beings. It's crazy, George.
Yeah, it is actually crazy. But what we are looking at is the modern history of how all of these things started. But it's even actually longer than that. Because if you remember, also biblically and historically, before the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, there was a proclamation made that when Christ cried over Jerusalem and said, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how long have I tried to gather your chickens together as a hen gathers, the children, but you will not. And he cried over Jerusalem and said that Jerusalem will be trodden down, which happened in AD 70, when Emperor Titus came and besieged Jerusalem and brought it down and scattered all the Jews. And he told them that they would be scattered. But what actually happened again was in 1948, May 17th or thereabout, the Bible talks about, can a nation be born in one day? In the book of Isaiah. And what happened was Israel became a nation again. And then they started coming back. The land was given to them by God according to biblical history, but they were told that they were going to be coming back. And that's what you saw started seeing a lot of Jews come from Russia back from the north into their own homeland. Now, the problem now is when they left, Turkey and some other countries came and occupied the land. So now when Israel was given back, mandated back a portion of that land, there has been a lot of struggle between the people that occupied it when they were in exile and the Gaza, which is the Gaza Strip, the Palestinian that were there. So that's the reason why you see the Dome of the Rocks in Jerusalem, which is where the temple, the new temple, was supposed to be born. So all these conflicts that you are seeing is all historical, accurate historical facts. But what we are forgetting today is the original occupants of that land that was biblically and historically given to them. So that's the conflict that we're seeing today.
Wonderfully said, George. But you know the funny thing, a lot of people don't want to relate anything this with Bible. You know, they feel that's the Bible.
It's historical,
you know?
whether we call it Bible or not, but it is historical.
Yes, but
right.
the Palestinians, for example, feel it is that biblical connotation to this whole thing.
Sir George.
So
Sir George.
Bidi, don't worry,
Sir
I'm coming
George.
to you. Bidi, don't worry.
I want to say something to what Sir George said.
Okay, go ahead then.
Sir George, you just said it. You just said the truth, how it is. But the issue is this. You know, in the world today, we have different religions. Some people who don't even believe in Bible. Some people who are not Christians. Some people who are not Muslims. Now, the problem is that how do we get to explain to these people who don't believe in this Bible that this is the real truth, that this is how it is. These are the original owner of this land. That's the major issue today, if you ask me.
Well, you know, Bidi, if you hear what I say biblical and historical. Biblical and historical. Like what, what we're saying is whether you want to be politically correct or not, the fact of the matter is this is how historically what happened and why they came to the place where they are today. The conflict is the people that are the Jews say this is our land, it was given to us by God. The Palestinians also say we are also part of Abraham, who is the father of Ishmael. Therefore, we have a claim to this land. And this conflict is age-old conflict that can never stop. It can never stop.
Never stop.
Until the end. Yes, listen to this. You know, prophetically, if you listen to what is going on, even the end of the matter is already written for those that understand the Bible. When the Eldesha says peace and safety, then sudden destruction will come. But listen to this, the reason why Hamas, whether they represent the Palestinians or not, is alleged to be a terrorist organization. And what is troubling everybody today is with the type of security system that US and Israel has, what they have right now, how was it that these people were able to put together such an atrocious attack without them knowing about it? So that's the main situation today. So, but as for who is to blame, Hamas is to blame. You just don't attack a peaceful nation, regardless of the, what you call small squabble that they're having. What they have done, they have unleashed the wrath of God upon them. And that's what you're going to be seeing in the next few weeks ahead.
Well, this is talking from your own point of view, George. Thank you very much. But like you said, diverse views, diverse opinion, diverse connotation relating to this whole thing. Yes, Hamas utilized some Iranian experts in manufacturing homemade rockets, and they've improved in their accuracy, in their range of attack. The Israelis are shocked at how they came this one. Past encounters with the Israeli forces, particularly during the 2014 war on Gaza, taught the Hamas some very valuable urban warfare style and the use of civilian infrastructures to shield in their war. So we're seeing something different playing out. We're seeing a very dynamic arrangement by Hamas, the terrorist group there in Palestine. Yes, there's so much to say about this, but we won't linger long on this issue because right there in Nigeria, in our country where we come from, is a situation that is also like an internal terrorism, and that's the Forex crisis. The Forex crisis, gentlemen, Nigerian plunges to 1,025 Naira for $1. This is serious. This is more than Hamas attacking us. Because jobs will be losing out, factories will be shutting down soon, and there was going to be real strong social, economical breakdown. BD, you're right there in Lagos, Nigeria. What's happening? The Forex crisis. Tell us.
It's the worst attack to us, like you said. But before I speak on that, Now, I want to say something about this Palestinian and Israel. Like Sir George said, that Palestinians are to be blamed. If you ask me, I will blame the United Nations because according to what Sir George said, it is truth, historical and biblical. That land was Israel's own, yeah. But the truth is this: the way the United Nations has been handling issue has brought this lingering of this case. Now, yes, he said that it's not going to stop. It's going to be an eternity war. But then, even if it's going to be an eternity war, it shouldn't be the one that will be taking life the way it has been taking life. So that's what I want to say. The United Nations should, shun political and face and decide and speak on this issue the way it should be. Do you understand? If they do that, things will get better. Now, back to the Forex and what is happening in Nigeria. I'm not surprised. A lot of people are still surprised. Now, let me tell you. You can't be floating Naira and without production. That's actually what is happening to us today. You come, you float Naira, and there's no production. You don't have anything to your name. You're not producing anything. Companies are folding up. People are losing their jobs. You know how many Nigerians that are out of job? It's going to get worse. So that's just, I'm not surprised. People say they are surprised. What do I want to say? We went floating our Naira when we don't have productions. So that's the outcome. So that is it.
That's the outcome. That is it. George, how do you feel that $1 is now this amount? Well, it's an advantage for Nigerians in diaspora. I mean, now you can send in chunk of cash and do a lot of things inside Nigeria. But economically,
it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because if you are sending money to Nigeria and the value of Naira was still the same prior to you sending that money, it's okay. But if I'm sending $100 and then in Nigeria things have fallen apart so badly that then what that $100 cannot give the equivalence of what 100 used to give, like maybe let's say 6 months ago or a year ago. It doesn't make any sense. This thing, and one of the worst part of it is that those that have savings in Nigeria, where they could have been able to purchase a lot of things with those savings, now the value of that money has fallen so badly that it's really so deplorable in the sight of people. So, I mean, what you're seeing today is a serious famine in Nigeria, food famine, intelligence, everything. So, and what Biddy is saying is quite correct. You are asking, people are trying to give you answers when they don't even know what the questions are. For the first time in history of Nigeria, we were given the opportunity to choose between Jesus and Barabbas. But the nation said, no, we want Barabbas. We want Barabbas. We want Barabbas. We don't want Jesus. So today, this is what the nation is suffering. Whether it was mandated over them, whether it was forced onto them, or whether it was the corrupt system that brought it about. This is the state of affairs in our own country. And it is so sad that people are dying daily and nobody's reporting it. That's what you're seeing in that country today.
It's so sad. People are dying daily. Nobody's reporting it. Owners of small-scale industry companies, enterprises are shutting down, like BD told us. Thank God for BD and the business summit she had last time that opened up a lot of things to our viewers. BD, how do you feel when you see small-scale businesses that you are encouraging to start up, to people to get into doing something, and now they can't because of the economy, because the Forex is in crisis? It's going to hinder raw materials from getting to people. It's going to hinder a lot of things from reaching these small-scale industries, and it's going to cause financial breakdown. How do you see this, BD?
Massive Mike, it hurts me a lot. I'm telling you, it hurts me a lot. And you know why I am doing this thing? Like, people feel like, oh, why are you taking this stress? Why are you taking this burden on yourself? You have people around you who call you on a daily basis. telling you, they are not calling you to ask you for money to feed. And it's not as if I'm a rich woman. I'm just managing on my own. Do you understand? You see a man with family, with 3 kids, calling you to ask you for 5,000 naira when you know that 5,000 naira cannot afford him anything or for his family. But he's telling you that my life depends on that family, 5,000, and BD just give it to me. Do you understand? Now, even if I don't have, I can borrow to send to that person because I know what the person is going through. That's the situation of a lot of people in Nigeria today. Their business has folded up. They cannot even earn anything. And they have a family to feed. Do you understand? That's the situation we are in Nigeria today. And because Sir John once said it in this show that we are a nation of smiling and crying, I mean, suffering and smiling. That's exactly, a lot of people are suffering. I don't know what is wrong with us. And they can't even speak up. They can't even speak up. They can't even speak for their freedom because they are afraid of dying. And I ask them every time, every day, what you're living, is it a life? Do you understand? The thing is that every individual is going to die in this life. Now, if you don't speak, you die. If you speak, you die. Why don't you speak and die? Do you understand? A lot of people are suffering. Now you see somebody who is hustling, trying to earn a living, and the person cannot earn a living because of this Forex, this floating thing that they brought upon us. You know, the thing is that most time when I look at our leaders, I say, these people, do they have brain? And the problem is this, that the people who have the brain will suggest for them, but they will not listen to them. They don't want to bring people who have something to bring on the table. They don't want to bring them close. They don't want. A lot of Nigerians are suffering. People are dying. People are dying. Like Sir just said, the mandate has been given to Nigerian media not to report anything anyhow. Before you report, you have to bring it for it to be censored. And what is censor in Nigeria? Censor is, you know, they'll censor it in a way that it will fit them, in a way that it will project the government in a good record. That is why people will die. They will not tell you that people are dying.
And all the strikes, all the protests that the NLC, every of these organization planned, everything just came to a stall.
We don't have NLC in Nigeria again. We don't have NLC in Nigeria again. I've said it here. We don't have. They've sold their conscience. What they do, Joe Ajero, and Click. No, those are the people, the ones that the government has. You know, they have fraction have accepted to be the NLC. Do you understand? What they do is that they come up with some stories, and the government call them back door and give them Ghana must go bags of money. And they'll go home and they'll keep telling Nigeria, and we've given them 3 months of notice. We've given them 1 month notice. Who does that? Do you understand? Now, let me ask you, Massive Guy. If you're hot, you just see your tear. You see yourself tearing. Is it not true? Will you hot and you say, oh, I will cry tomorrow. I will cry next tomorrow. Do you do that? No. When you're hot, you cry. And when people are not happy, what NLC is supposed to do is to march to the streets. And protesting is not war. It's a way of, registering our displeasure, registering our dislike. But what NLC do is that when they hurt them, they now say, I will cry tomorrow. You will never cry again. Because the government will call them on a round table and give them bags of Ghana must go, and they will go home, and them and their family will be living good, and ordinary Nigerian will be suffering. So the truth is this: Nigerians don't have any group that speak for them, and that is why I'm calling on Nigeria every day, every time. Stand up and speak for yourselves, because nobody is going to speak for you, more especially Nigerian youth.
More especially in Nigeria. Thank you. You were loud. You were very, very vocal, and want to thank you for bringing those insights into this discussion. So that is it, viewers listening, watching. The crisis is serious. Nigeria, Naira has plunged. This will affect a lot of things. Businesses will be shutting down, obviously, unless something is done. Rescue. George, what do you want to say before we go on a short break? Do you have any addition to this?
Well, I think that Biddy have, she's hit the nail on the head. And frankly speaking, the despondency of our country is very troubling. We have come to that point where, we're so despondent that the suffering has entered our veins and is flowing in our blood, that I don't think that people are really thinking that there's any more hope. So that's what it is. Look at Tinubu just hired quite a few number of 5 different, what do you call them again? Some are political assistants or whatever the case might be.
Yes.
And it's all...
We'll come to this when we come back in the break, George. George, thank you very much.
That sounds good.
So let's go on a small break. And viewers, thank you for joining. This is News Echo this beautiful Wednesday morning here in Milan, Italy. And George is there in Toronto, Canada. BD is there in Lagos. And we are giving you updates as it affects global Africa. So join us as we come back again. Thank you.
Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call, obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. Shall never be in vain to serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
This country has some of the most extraordinary culinary diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe nsala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Yoruba people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in south-south Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. The articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions, celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better, the inside story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle, inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment, a better mind keeping you updated.
Hashtag Schengen Story Magazine. Get Schengen Story Magazine full editions.
Welcome back, viewers. You are welcome to this Wednesday, 11th of October, 2023. And this is the Schengen Story Media News Echo Global Africa. George, you're still there. Are you there? I hope you can hear me.
Here. Yes.
Good. George, a lot of things are still going on, and we have to bring them to light. Our viewers are eager to know situations of things. Now, right there in Nigeria is a group called the Yoruba Nation. And there's a man that leads that group. He's an activist. He's called Sunday Igboho. Sunday Igboho went to, he was to travel. He was to come to Europe 2 years ago, I think. And right there in the Benin Republic, where he wanted to board his flight, he was flagged down. He was detained and arrested. And that brought a lot of commotion for that organization called the Yoruba Nation. Now, on Sunday, last Sunday, Sunday Igboho, the Yoruba Nation activist, was released from his detention, and he's now presently. In fact, I have a video of him. He's presently in Germany. Now, the discussion here is, first of all, gentlemen, why do we witch hunt activists? Why do we take them down, want to kill them and all this? I mean, in every society, in every given society, a group of people will actually speak. This is even what helps democracy. That some people are checking the government, some people are, and as long as they don't go past their borderline, past the what they should do. So, but Sunday Igboho was arrested, he was detained, and for no reason. Take note also, while this was happening, his home in Ibadan was being destroyed. DSS came, they said they saw stockpiles of arms, they scattered everywhere, they destroyed his property. Let me start with Sir George. Sir George, Sunday Igboho has been released, he's in Germany, the leader of the Yoruba Nation. What do you say about this?
Well, yeah, I think it's good news. He's Yoruba, so he's going to be released. What about Nnamdi Kanu?
Okay.
He's not Yoruba. Why is he still in jail? So that's the question we'll have to ask ourselves. Are you talking about this when all things are equal? When there is what you call democracy in a country? What we have is not democracy in that nation. The smoke and the smell of military rule still goes on in that country. People are still afraid from yesterday's dreams that have become our today's necessities. So that's what you're seeing. Now, an activist is somebody who comes out to tell the ill of what the government is doing wrong, or maybe to be corrected, or whatever the case might be. But in the case of Nigeria, we don't have democracy. Then what we have is shadow democracy, kakistocracy, a nation that decides to hire the worst and make them to be the head. And that's when you know that a nation is so bad, because you know a dead fish when it starts smelling from the head. So look at the 8 years that just passed under APC, the kind of mess Nigeria was plunged into. And most of those things that happen, today, Tinubu is suffering it simply because of the worst government we've ever had in that nation in the past 150 years. And I'm going beyond our so-called independence. So this is what you see. So Sunday Igboho, it's a good thing that he was released. Hopefully he will be able to regain himself after 2 years of imprisonment, simply because of what? Because he's telling them, we need a better nation. If you guys cannot do it, let's separate, So that's what we're seeing in that country. And when you have an activist that are coming and telling the truth, they want to suppress them. And it brings us to this new aides that the Tinubu administration is hiring, to go out there and start fighting against. Look at what happened to Arise News. Look at what happened to them recently. They will just receive their letter, final warning. Why? Because they're telling the truth. What a nation we are in. Thank God. I thank God for Schengen News Media, because we're not in Nigeria. Our headquarters is not in Nigeria. Therefore, it doesn't matter what they say. We will speak the truth and we'll bring out the truth as it's supposed to be. That's what it is.
That's a good one, George. Thank you very much. Yes, BD, Sunday Igboho is out, but Nnamdi Kanu is still in. And these are activists, these are freedom fighters, like they call them. But are they exaggerating what they should be fighting for? Sunday Igboho has been released. Maybe, like George said, Yoruba, and maybe because his people are also in the hands of power and all that. What do you say, BD? Tell us, give us your view.
Yeah, Sunday Igboho has been released.
Mm-hmm.
She's muted. She's muted.
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, BD. Go ahead.
She's still muted.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Now,
It's okay.
Sunday Igboho has been released. I'm happy for him. He's presently in Germany. Kudos to people like Obasanjo, Aya Debenjo, and Co, who he said actually worked towards his release. Those are the elder statesmen of Nigerian and Yoruba origin. I'm happy for him. Like Sir George asked some questions. Why? The truth is this: we don't have democracy in Nigeria. What we have is we're still in military system of government, recolored to be named whatever they have, because the services we get, everything we have in Nigeria is still a military system of government. We're still under the military without uniform. That's what we have in Nigeria today. Do you understand? Now, the truth is this: Nigerian government has been anti-freedom fighters, activists, and any group or media houses speaking the truth. They've been, and it's been like that in Nigeria. But I think it got worse under APC governments. It got worse under APC governments. Nigeria now and the kind of government that they've recruited all the freedom fighters, all the activists, and put them under payments. You know what that means? You don't speak. Then somebody should come and challenge me. I'm a Nigerian, I'm saying this. All the freedom fighters in Nigeria, all the activists in Nigeria are under payroll under Nigeria. That is why Wole Soyinka is misbehaving the way he's misbehaving. Because of what? The government of Nigeria pays him. They pay for they bought him a house. I know what that means. When they give you food, when they pay for your services or existence, they have silenced you. They have rubbished your conscience. That is what is happening in Nigeria with activists and freedom fighters. Nigeria don't have activists and freedom fighters. You dare not speak truth in Nigeria. Everybody will challenge you. Even your own family will come after you because they know the danger it poses for your life and for your health. Now, coming to the side of Nnamdi Kanu, from what we have seen now, it's obvious that before Nnamdi Kanu will be released in prison, it might be in 2031. That is when, yes, you don't laugh, but it's true. That is when APC might go out of power after they have spent 8 years, if they will allow election to hold or election to speak. That will be in 2031. That's when Nnamdi Kanu, maybe if somebody who is not Yoruba, or maybe someone who is not Hausa, or maybe Yoruba who has a good heart or who believe in rule of law, will now release Nnamdi Kanu. Secondly, I'm not speaking to Igbo leaders, Igbo governors, and Igbo technocrats or businessmen. Do you understand? Who keep living in denial. The truth is this: Nigeria claims to be a one-country nation, but they are not. Nigeria is the kind of country that you speak for your region, you speak for your group, you speak for your people. And the truth is, the bitter side of it is that Igbos are not speaking for themselves. I'm telling you, the group parts of people who are fighting for Nnamdi Kanu release, they don't have the power. They are not where they're supposed to be. Look at Sunday Igboho said it, that people who facilitated his release or his freedom are people like Obasanjo. You know the position of Obasanjo in Nigeria. But the Igbos cannot stand up for their own people. They cannot stand up for their own son. What they do is they keep fighting for Simon Ekpo. Do you understand? They keep fighting for Simon Ekpo, whereas they are part of why Nnamdi Kanu is suffering. The same where they put in Nnamdi Kanu, that is the same where they want to put Simon Ekpo. When Sunday Igboho was arrested in Benin Republic, they're supposed to represent him to Nigeria, but Yoruba's elder statesman said no. But let me tell you, do you know that it was Igbos that were instrumental to bringing Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria? So the truth is this: people keep shooting themselves on the leg. The Igbos keep shooting themselves on the leg. They don't want to come together and work together and work to the freedom of their now, and that is why it looks like IPOB has power. IPOB don't have power. The people that have given IPOB power are the leaders of the Igbos, the governors, the elder statesmen of Igbo, because they have refused to do what they're supposed to do. And the
Thank you very
little boys at home now take up
much.
the power on
Yeah,
themselves. So
this
I'm
is
not blaming I'm
yes.
not blaming
I want
Tinubu.
to. Yes, I know you have a lot to say. We'll be giving more room for this good insight on the Igbo factors that in the southeast Nigeria. George is also having a program where he will be addressing some of these things. So, but we have more things to discuss. And Chris Okafor, one of the viewers online right now, says Sir George is so up on his contribution, iron in the historical facts and the political situation pointing to our mess in the nation. Thank you, Christy. Another user says, LinkedIn user says, good broadcast going on. Yes, formerly we had Yetunde Johnson says, chaos everywhere. All we need to do is obey God's golden commandment. Love your neighbors, you will love yourself. We're on the verge of destroying all the good things God provided freely. Everybody's bringing in their take. Please keep bringing in your views, bring in your comments. Christy is saying something again. Christy says, it's really unfortunate that our freedom of speech is so threatened. And we are tied with this terrible virus of tribe that destroys whole nation. Use of tribe has been the power used to manipulate everything in such a country with lots of potentials. Christy, these are great.
Amazing contribution. Amazing contribution. And this is one of the major issues that we have allowed the politicians, to bring into our lives. You see, today, we have been so intermingled with each other in Nigeria that the only thing we need to do is to identify the strength in our differences. Because you see, what it is that they're using tribal sentiment to wage war against from tribe to tribe, when Nigerians on their own are not even tribal in their sentiments. It's only to bring a few number of hoodlums who will come and start making open attacks against a nation, against a tribe, or whatever the case might be. But what we have to understand is Nigeria, being as we are today, is the most beautiful country on the planet Earth. God bless that nation so much with much intelligence, beauty, and culture. So diversity ought to be our strength, that everybody will want to come. Nigeria ought to be the Dubai of the Arab nations. That's what Nigeria is positioned to be, but it's only a handful of people, corrupt leaders. That's what we call them, corrupt leaders, inept, unable to think, because most of them, what they concentrate on is how to manipulate and how to take money away from the country. Look at where we are today. How many days since Tinubu's administration? What is it that you can tell me that they have achieved, but nothing but talk? Talk is cheap. You're hiring new media aid. What are they going to be doing? Are they going to administrate for you? Are they going to change around and bring companies to begin to manufacture so we can export goods from our country so that our Forex money exchange rate will come down? Is that what we're going to be doing? Look at how many aids he has already. And he's still flooding himself with so many aids.
Thank you very much, George. George BD, wonderful. And the viewers are full.
Massive Mike.
Yes.
Sir George just hit it on the nail. See,
that's correct.
See, before I used to blame our leaders, but lately, about a few months ago, I've taken a turn to the citizens of Nigeria. You know why? Like what Sir George said, within Nigerians, we don't tribalize among ourselves. But these politicians bring it upon ourselves for their own selfish interests. But it's so unfortunate that the citizens are not seeing it. Now the prices of things are high. You can't even afford the fuel. Let me tell you, for the first time in my life, I can drive from mainland to island within 5 minutes that has never done for over 10 years I've been living in Lagos. Because
Wow.
people can no longer afford fuel. They are at home. Still, you can't use your brain that these politicians are using you for their own selfish interests. So I'm beginning to blame Nigerians. I'm no longer blaming the leaders because we allow them to use us. We allow them to treat us as if we are not humans.
And that was what Chris Okafor said. Very unfortunate situation. But let's see how we continue to get awakened, get conscious of ourselves, and probably we will get out of all these entanglements they've used on us. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for bringing that out. So Sunday Igboho, Yoruba Nation activist Sunday Igboho is out. He's right now enjoying cooling off somewhere in Germany. I think he needs to get himself together. And we want IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, please, federal government, the law, the courts, the legal arm have said he should be freed. So whoever is still holding IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, hear us and hear us well. We are not on any side. We're not IPOB. We're not Yoruba Nation. We are just a group of men that see things from a very different angle, and we say, let justice be done. Release IPOB Nnamdi Kanu because the law has said so. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Gentlemen, let's move on to some things before we go off. There's something making round on Twitter X, former Twitter platform called X. Yesterday, it was boozing around, and a lot of people were angry, and people are writing things. And that is the story of the Nigerian INEC president, Bola Tinubu's son, flying with a presidential jet to attend a polo game in Kanu. And that brought mixed reaction. George, how will you feel? You are the president, and your son, your daughter uses an official car, official jet, to go to a game. It's a game, not anything spectacular. No. Be truthful, George.
No,
You are the man, and your son. Go ahead.
The truth of the matter is this. Listen to this. This is just a clear evidence of lack of home training. And
George,
I'm serious, because any well-groomed young man will not even attempt. Your father has a private jet. You will not use your father's private jet or ask him if you can use that, because he is using the national aircraft right now. Don't forget that these things are well equipped with all kinds of protection and everything, and that's what you're going to be using. While people are dying on the streets of hunger, you're using the national aircraft to transport yourself because you want to go and see polo game. How deplorable. How can we be, it doesn't make any sense to me, because, there are words that I would like to use on this particular thing that just happened, but I'm not going to use it publicly. Is he an official of the government? Is he being received with a royal treatment in that place? And who authorized him to use that aircraft? So, because these are the things that we need to hammer on the head and make sure that this man is sane when he is thinking, and his children ought to be tamed. They need to be tamed. Not just come out any kind of way and start doing things and abusing.
I'm still on you. George, I'm still on you. Listen to this. When the discussion came out, the boys' camp, Sheyi Tinubu's people, and some of his supporters on X said, this is nothing, that Buhari's daughter started that, Hannah something, whatever her name was. Hannah started that. She traveled to Bauchi with the presidential jet, and even some of the Buhari's in-laws were using the private jet.
Because Buhari is a good example that we ought to be using in Nigeria.
Yeah, so that's what they were
Buhari
saying.
A good example? Does two wrongs make it right?
No.
Is that what we're saying? Because a depleted man who could not even sit in Aso Rock for 100 days, but always in London for medical treatment, we don't even know what is happening with him today. You know, is that the person we're going to be using as an example in what he did? A former military leader, an inept leader that couldn't even, decide his left from his right. Is that who Tinubu is following right now? To allow his children to abuse the national assets that has been provided for the executive president. Your son is using it to go to a polo game, and we're going to give that excuse. Is that what we're doing right now?
Shall you use our private jet, our presidential jet, to watch a polo game in Kano? BD, how do you see this? Is this not an offense? Is it not breaking down moral code of leadership? Is this not making also the poor? And we're talking of the Naira that has fallen now, and people are suffering. And now this man is taking the gasoline, the fuel for petrol for aircraft is far more expensive than the one for motor car. Now this man has taken our presidential jet to watch a polo game. BD, how do you feel?
First, Sir George, Buhari is a model to Tinubu. It might be any other thing to you. That's one thing. Secondly, this is what I call abuse of power. In 2015, Nigerians said they wanted a change due to media propaganda that was sold to us. Because I call it media propaganda because I knew everything that happened. That was the area 2014, 2015. That was when I just started my media work. They said they wanted a change. And they said Nigerian voted for APC. Now, when Nigeria wanted a change, what they wanted was to do things differently from the normal way that's not right that it's been doing. But what has APC brought out to Nigeria? It's repetition of the evil thing that has been done in the past and keep justifying their actions with, oh, this person did it, this person did it. Now, Tinubu's son flew presidential jet to Kano to watch polo. And when confronted, like I said earlier, that I'm no longer blaming our leaders, I blame the Nigerians. He has people supporting him. And their point is this, that Buhari's daughter flew the presidential jet. And listen now, Buhari's daughter flew presidential jet to Bauchi for photo shoots. Photo. It's not that there was a war in Bauchi or there was a flood in Bauchi. Oh, and she said, oh, I need to rush to Bauchi to see the people of Bauchi and commiserate with them, and I have something I want to give to them. No, she went for photo shoots, and Sheyi went to Kano for polo watch. Game. And that's where we have gotten. You know why? Because we no longer have a rule of law. Nobody obeys rule of law.
That's where we have gotten, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
We keep abusing the law.
Time is always against us. George, I'm sorry. I know we have so much to say. Friday, we're coming back, viewers. We have quite some good viewers online with us, 2,000 and thereabouts viewers. Friday, we'll be back. Things are happening. Events are unfolding around the world. BD from Lagos, Nigeria, thank you very much for coming to News Echo Global Africa this Wednesday morning. George from Toronto, Canada, I want to thank you. See you guys Friday.
I want to thank viewers from watching us today, and stay up. Keep your heads up.
Keep your heads up.
It will get better.
It will get better. Thank you, George. That's a good one to end with. It will get better. Viewers, God bless you. Till we come again. Bye-bye.